On this episode of Inspired Wellness with Jessica, I want to share with you my secret weapon to thriving in both business and in life. This is Inspired Wellness with Jessica, a safe space for women impacted by their emotions to unlock hope and discover ways to elevate emotional wellness holistically for long-term health and well-being. I am your host, Jessica, advanced EFT practitioner, holistic counselor, meditation therapist, and advanced life coach. Join me for real, raw conversations to educate and inspire you to take control of your emotional well-being. I am so grateful you are here with me. Let's dive straight in. All right, let's chat about my secret weapon to thriving in both business and life. Now, some of you may have seen this coming, like a freight train that is coming right at you. But of course, I'm going to talk about EFT tapping. Now, for those of you who are new to Inspired Wellness with Jessica, welcome. You are going to love hearing about tapping. And for those of you who have heard me talk about EFT before, still take a listen today because I'm going to share some of the ways that I use it in my personal life and in my business. So first thing that I want to say is if you don't know what EFT actually is, I'm going to explain that to you now. EFT tapping is short for emotional freedom techniques, and it is an amazing alternative therapies tool that combines modern day talk therapy with acupressure. And the way that it works is we use our fingers, so it's self-applied stress management tool. You use your fingers to stimulate a sequence of acupressure points that surface close to the skin. And when you are stimulating these points, it has been scientifically proven that there is a calming signal that gets sent to your brain. Now, if you think about times where you are emotionally charged, maybe you're grieving, maybe you're angry, maybe you're really stressed, maybe you suffer from anxiety. These times that you are emotionally charged and your brain is not thinking logically, and you are trying to rationalize your way out of calming down, you've probably realized by now that that doesn't actually really work. So EFT is so effective because when you are in these emotionally charged situations, what is happening is there is a message in your brain of danger, of something to worry about, something that's stressful, okay? Something that is arousing your amygdala, which is your fight or flight response center, the area of your brain that's responsible for protecting you. It's responsible for looking out for danger. Well, when you are in those states, your amygdala is like, danger, danger, danger. So when you're stressed, when you're anxious, when you're overly emotional, you have this signal going on in your brain. Danger, danger, danger. We start tapping, and this signal is also sent to the brain at the same time that is saying, calm. I don't think it's really saying that. Can you just imagine? It's like, calm, calm. No, but what's happening is, you are getting calming signals that is being sent to your amygdala. And then the brain will look at these two signals and say, okay, if I was in any real danger, okay, so for example, and you might think, but you know what, the things that I'm thinking about, my health, these things, they're real. Of course they're real. But when I mean real danger, I mean that immediate, is there a predator coming at you? Are you being chased by an animal? Do you need to jump out of the way of a moving vehicle? Is there any immediate danger to your physical health? And your brain will look at that and it will go, okay, well, if I'm getting this danger signal, but I'm also getting this calming signal at the same time, I can't be in that immediate physical threat of danger. And therefore, the amygdala will calm down. Signals will then be sent through your body's messenger system, through the vagal nerve, down through your body to say it's okay, let's return back to our rest and digest nervous system. And then from there, we are then able to calmly deal with what it is that is going on. The physical signs that we're feeling when we're stressed, or anxious, the racing heart, feeling flushed, tingly fingers, lightheadedness, knots in the stomach, all these things, they will disappear because all these things are symptoms of your fight or flight response. The other thing that happens when we're tapping is tapping will interject the neural pathway of the anxious or worrisome thoughts that you are having, which is why it is so fantastic for reprogramming your brain. You can reprogram any thoughts, any beliefs, okay? It can take some time sometimes depending on how ingrained these beliefs are and how much emotion there is to it and how many life experiences there are behind them. But you can reprogram all these things that are no longer serving you. So if you think about these regular thought patterns that you have, maybe they're anxious thought patterns, maybe they're negative thought patterns, and you think about these firing along the same pathway every single time, and then we start tapping and we interrupt that pathway. And then eventually the pathway drops away. So we can then form new pathways, which is where we'll go and reprogram. So where you might have had a belief that you, weren't good enough for something, or you might have had a belief that, snakes are frightening. I should really write all my examples down before on a notepad before I record a podcast, shouldn't I? Let's just say, that you have these beliefs though. Then once that emotional charge has been released from them, which EFT is doing because it's energetically working through the body to release the emotions, once you have then told your brain that that thought is safe and we've broken the pathway, then we can reprogram it with a new thought of your choosing. So it is a pretty amazing tool, and that is obviously a very brief overview of how EFT tapping can help you. But what that means in the grand scheme of the things that you can use it for means that there's not really any limitation as to what you can use it for. Now, I am an advanced EFT practitioner. That means that I have had extensive training to work with people who are experiencing all sorts of issues, from anxiety to stress to trauma to phobias to food cravings to anything really that brings emotional charge to personal growth, okay, anything that you need reprogramming. Now, I in my business tend to specialize more in stress, anxiety, and trauma. That is the area that I absolutely love to work in. So because I focus on that, I just don't want you to think, though, that that is all you can use EFT for. There is absolutely so many things. And with EFT, you can use it on your own. It is a self-applied technique. You can learn to use it on your own issues, or you can also work with a practitioner to work through trauma and to get to the root cause of anxiety and stress so that you can actually then go and tell the brain that those circumstances are safe and you no longer have the same triggers that you have. Trust me, from my personal experience, this is how you get long-term peace. This is how you absolutely, if you are an anxiety sufferer, get long-term peace. Now, as for using EFT on your own, if you've never done that before, if you have no idea what this amazing tool that I am talking about is, I do have a free beginner's guide to tapping. It is a PDF document that you can download in the show notes. So you can go and grab that and you can get started tapping at home because there are so many things you can use it for at home. What I want to share with you though today, and I could talk all day about all the different things that I use EFT for. What I want to share with you today though is how I use it as my secret weapon to thrive in my business and in my life. Now, again, I've combined the two because for me and for any other entrepreneur, any other business owner, the way that you show up to your business, the way that you are when you sit down to work, the things that happen in your personal life because they're happening in your body and then you are the business, it directly affects your business outcomes. It directly affects the things that you are trying to achieve in your business, the money that you are making, the success that you have. So the first way that I use EFT to thrive in business is in my personal life. Now, this includes using it to manage anxiety. If you have listened to my story previously, you'll know that I come from a place of living in panic disorder, PTSD, high levels of stress, that was wreaking absolute havoc on my body and my life. Now, I have gone through and done a lot of healing work in terms of those triggers that I was talking about, desensitizing the emotionally traumatic events, removing those things from my body. So managing anxiety for me now has gone from a trying to desperately come out of this place every single day to observing when something is a little more emotionally challenging in my life than usual and using EFT as a spot fire. Okay, so using EFT now, as a spot fire rather than as something that was trying to pull me out of a big hole that I was in, which was me a few years ago. So in my personal life, I will use EFT as I need it. And the important thing about doing it as I need it is that I'm not suppressing my emotions. I am not allowing stress and anxiety to take over my life and body, because it not only impacts the quality of my life, the relationship that I have with my partner, the relationship with my children, but it also bleeds directly into my business, which I know you hear me say a lot, but I can't say it enough. If I was to turn up to work to do my business, to work with another client in the space of anxiety, if I was to turn up and try and hold space for someone, or to try and record something, or to, create new tools or add copy or whatever it is that I've got to do, if I was to turn up in that state of stress, then my logical brain isn't working properly. I'm doing myself and my clients a disservice. So dealing with my personal life first is must, absolute must. Well-being is my number one priority for my business. My personal well-being is my number one priority for my business. Number 2, I use EFT in my business on my limiting beliefs and my blocks. And when I need to, I will work with a coach or another practitioner when it's too much for me, because I know my limitations and I know where my brain is avoiding because our brains want to do that. They want to keep us safe. It's all it's trying to do. But if you are trying to get to the root of something deep or something that is buried in your subconscious and your logical mind is a big shield trying to protect you, then you might need to actually work with someone who is trained to help you move past that. So when I talk about using it on my limiting beliefs and my blocks, this is something that, as you'll know, as a business owner, comes up regularly. We don't just have one limiting belief and then once we've cleared that, we are all good to go and live our life. There's always things that are going to come up, things that are ready to come up now, things that will come up for you later, things that you didn't even realize were a block or a limiting belief for you until it surfaces as an issue. And it might surface, as a block in your business. It might surface as a change in your circumstances. It might surface as anxiety or stress or a physical ailment for you as well. So I use EFT to spot fire these. So again, I don't suppress them. I get curious when something comes up. What is this? And how can I clear it? Because it is impacting me now and I don't want it to continue to impact me. So just stressing, suppressing your emotions, no, not good. Not good. Suppressing your emotions, what you resist will persist and they will come back. So that goes the same as, let's say, I am getting stuck on what to charge for something, or I'm getting stuck on putting out a new course or doing an Instagram live, or there's something that I really want to do, but every time I go to do it, I procrastinate, I can't focus, I don't get it done. There are blocks there. So using EFT to get curious about those blocks, to lower the stress response, to find out what that belief is, and then to use that to reprogram it is the first way that I use EFT in my business. So I've shared number 1, using it in my personal life. Number 2, using it on my limiting beliefs and my blocks to get me through as needed. The third way that I use EFT in my business is really, really important. And this could apply to you really no matter what you are doing. But for me in my business, I work obviously working with stress, working with anxiety, working with other people's trauma. It is heavy. And I pride myself on my ability to hold space for these things that people have gone through, for these awful experiences that have shaped the way that they are currently living their life. EFT is absolutely imperative to my protection for me. Because if you think about when you sit down with a friend and that friend is offloading onto you and you are in a really good mood before this and you love them, so you let them offload onto you. But then you feel flat. You feel down. Maybe you even walk away thinking about the sad story that they told you, obsessing how you could help them or putting yourself in their shoes. This is affecting you energetically, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, everything. So for me, as major protection, first of all, I will always tap while I am in an EFT session. I never have a client tapping without me. And that's partly because I need to lead the session, but also partly because it's protection. It allows me to keep a clear mind, to not be emotionally drawn into what is going on for that person, which allows them the whole space. It allows them the space to heal, to let out what they need to let out, to share what they need to share. And then afterwards, I will use EFT as a clearing ritual. Okay, just doing a body scan, even though I might have picked up something from that client, I am safe and I let it go now. And you can do this no matter what industry you're in. You don't have to be working with trauma to need to release things. You could be in customer service and have some person take their crappy day out on you. And you then feel terrible. So use EFT. Even though that person made me feel really sad, I accept that I feel this way. Even though I don't know why they were mad at me, I accept that I feel this way. And just help it to process and release from your body. Because again, what we resist persists. And if we don't process and release it, it'll just stay there. And it will build and it will build and it will build. So, and just FYI, the other parts of my clearing rituals include saging a room afterwards. And another form of energy clearing, I also do a shakedown sometimes, depending on how I feel as well. And normally, yeah, that's pretty much it actually. That does me really well. Some people have more in-depth rituals, but that is enough. That is enough for me. And sometimes I'll go outside as well between sessions. Well, I like to every time actually go outside between sessions with clients and just pop my feet in the ground and just get back into my body. And I'll even do my tapping while I'm out there doing that. So it doesn't have to be long. These processes probably take me no more than 5 minutes between clients. But I know, because I experienced this when I first started working with clients, that when I forget, before I built that habit to doing that every single time, when I forget, I burn out. And it's the same with anything. So if you are in a workspace where you're bringing on other people's energy, as I said, if you're in, customer service, if you're working with other people and you're picking up on their energy, then I highly recommend EFT as a professional self-care tool so that you can, first of all, show up for your life and your business in a way that is authentic and calm and clear-minded and grounded. Second of all, so that you can spotfire the things that have the potential to hold you back forever. If I just keep coming up to this block and going, oh, well, I'll deal with that later, or I don't know why I'm doing this, so who cares? Obviously it's not meant for me, or obviously it's not meant to be, or I'm not meant to do this. If I just kept coming up to these blocks and just walking away, well, I can tell you I wouldn't have a business now. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. Because if I had let the blocks or the fear or my limiting beliefs stand in my way, then I wouldn't even have a business. I probably wouldn't have even become an EFT practitioner. So there's so many things. So we need to make sure that we're using EFT because it is fast and effective when done correctly to release these things from our mind, from our body, and then using it to clear your energy. Self-care. It's not only energetic self-care. Well, our bodies are energy, so I guess it is energetic self-care. But it's energy self-care. It's mind, body, emotions. It is self-care for life and for business, and it is so important. Such an amazing tool. And the more research that comes out about EFT, the more I am just still blown away. Even after I have had my own amazing successes with it, even after every client that I work with says how great the EFT is, even after all these amazing things are happening, the research that comes out around the effects of EFT in comparison to other tools such as CBT or other non-therapeutic tools or whatever's been used in the studies, okay, on anxiety, trauma, PTSD, personal performance, academic studies, so many studies. So many. I can't even list them all right now. But if you are interested too in learning where these studies are, just send me a message. Actually, no, I'll link some in the show notes. I'll send a link to some evidence-based EFT websites in the show notes so that if you are curious about the kinds of results that we're seeing with EFT and the long-term results that we're seeing with EFT, then you can jump over and have a read of some of those as well. So that is it for today. I have shared with you my secret weapon to thriving in business and in life, which of course is EFT tapping. If you would like to know more about how EFT can support you, then I would love to have a chat with you. I offer a free 20-minute discovery call just over the phone where we have a chat, answer your questions, and see if I might be the right person to help you move through those blockages, those big emotions, release those events, stories, anxieties of the past so that you can step into your future. You've been listening to Inspired Wellness with Jessica. If you loved what you heard today, make sure you subscribe to this podcast and leave a review. If you know someone who would love to hear all about this topic, make sure you share this episode on your socials and tag me at inspiredlife.byjessicaann. You can get in touch with me through my website www.inspiredlifecollective.com.au. Thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.